As we move forward in our officer training, the next piece that we're going to take a look at is the daily event log, also known as the event shift log. Think of daily events as things that an officer does throughout the course of their day that don't require reports. With this in mind, when we log in, we won't be going to the reporting tab, we'll instead be going to the modules tab, event shift log, and we're going to add a new daily event. Now taking a look, daily events, just like case reports, can be added to the pass down log. If this is an event that occurred that everybody should know about, add to the pass down log and give it an expiration date. We can add digital media if you have images that occurred while you were doing this event. But the big thing here to note actually is the officer dropdown. So this is something that you can log for somebody else. If you're an operator within a dispatch center and you get radioed that an officer was locking a door or whatever it might be, you can log daily events for other officers. If over the course of this event something does occur and you need to add a case report, or maybe this event is tied to a report that happened in the past, we can also add a case report. Aside from the main officer who is actually on this event, we can add backup officers. They'll have their own times, their own dates, and a drop-down. Next is what actually happened, the daily event type. Daily event type, if you're using the dispatch program, will grab the dispatch calls, but then you can also populate the activity log with other things that officers do throughout the day. Escorting people places, locking doors. Again, items that don't necessarily require a report, but that are things that the officer did. Then we can record when this actually occurred. There are some quick timer options. If I hit any of these, it'll grab the current time for end time and backtrack however many minutes. So for instance, current time is 1:01 p.m. If I hit 15 minutes, it'll populate the end time as 1:01 and the start time is 12:46. Location is going to come from our tree view, so we can say exactly where this took place. Specific location, just like within our case reports, is free text. Quick Notes is a drop-down option where you can actually populate it with items that do tend to happen. So, such as nothing unusual found if you're just taking a look somewhere that you got a call about, or escort completed, whatever it might be. But then the notes section underneath it, this is free text. So if I have more that I need to add outside of the quick notes, I can add more. When I'm done logging my event, when I hit save, it's going to ask if I want to leave the module open and add more events. So at the end of your shift, if you're going to add 4 or 5 different events, you can just hit yes and log your next event. Now, daily events can be added from this screen, but they're also automatically logged at 2 different locations. If I go back into the module, event shift log, and browse or search events, this is going to open up the search screen, and I can see, okay, so here's that patrol that I just logged. There's an escort that I just logged, but it'll also show time spent writing reports. So if you're logged into the program and you're working on a report for a set amount of time, it's going to log a start and end time for your report writing. This is something that can be turned off by your administrator if they don't like it, but by default it is turned on. And secondly, dispatch calls. If you're dispatched on a call, from the time that you're dispatched to the time that you're cleared also gets logged as a daily event. At the end of the day, there's reports that can be run based off of activity type, officer, time of day, day of week, all those fun things to actually get a good idea of what your officers are doing throughout the day. So it is important to log your events because it basically shows from start of shift to the end of shift what you were doing.